Hey everyone, I'm SpencerFan937 and today I'm reviewing Whiff. So a little background on the character. Whiff didn't originally appear in the Railway series, unlike a lot of other characters I reviewed. Rather, he first appeared in the television series in I think season 11. So this was like the early 2000s before they fully transitioned into animation rather than the models. So he appeared in sort of the last leg of that era of the television series. His character at the beginning is sort of presented as like this bossy type, kind of like little arrogant, but ultimately he learns his ways like so many other engines, and he, is really just becomes a useful engine. So pretty typical story and typical background, but what isn't typical about him is his model and design, and you could tell that right off the bat. The first thing that pops out of you is his glasses and his shape, but we'll get to that later. As for the review, well, let's get into it. So I got this particular model of Whiff in the 2010s. This one was released in I think 2008, and it stayed on the shelves for a relatively long period of time. I think till 2014, so that's a pretty good amount of time. After that, they updated the model in like 2017, I think, and that stayed on the shelves for a little while, but ultimately it got discontinued. And this is well the first one, so obviously I have more fondness for this one. But honestly, I think they're more or less the same. They have the same basic attributes and similarities. Um, as for the model itself being true to the Railway television series model, you could say it's more or less true to the model in the television series. To be honest, I think they didn't really have much to work with because Whiff's model in the show was already very unique compared to most of the other steam engines and tank engines they had. So I think this was sort of a compromise between, making him like so weird and different versus just making him just look like everybody else. And honestly, I think the result is pretty cool and interesting. The first thing that strikes out at you is his glasses. So Whiff, obviously, as you can see, has glasses, and I don't know if this is ever explained in the show. I don't really remember, but it's just one of the many unique things about him. Interestingly, though, he is not the only engine who has glasses. The Sodor Railway Repair also has glasses. So this guy first appeared in the Railway series, and he never appeared in the television series. So this model was released in the 90s. So these two are the only ones who have glasses. So just an interesting fact. But moving on to the model, another thing that strikes out at you, besides his glasses, is his shape and color. So he has this sort of dark olive green livery. Most engines who are green have this kind of lime light green color. So this is definitely interesting about him, and I don't know, it's just cool to have because most engines kind of have these very polarizing bright colors. So it's nice to have an engine that sort of just blends in once in a while. Another thing that strikes out of you is his elongated shape. Most tank engines, have this simple, compact build. If you look at Percy, for example, this is like the typical tank engine, right? But when you look at Whiff, he has four wheels on either side. He has this bunker that's way in the back, very elongated shape. So it's just very unique. And one thing that's interesting about this compared to the television series, honestly, I kind of think the television series model is a little smaller, even than the average tank engine. So I think this was a compromise between making him, just like all the other engines, or just kind of doing their own thing. So I always thought that was a little interesting. Um, so let's get into the details. So on this side, you could see he has this, olive livery, and there's some cool details here on the side with his gold paint. It's contrasted against the green. You also have this sort of sliver of red as well. The designs are mirrored on the other side. Again, relatively detailed here. It's very cool with the gold. The number there reads 86. Yeah, there you go. You can see it 86. So I don't really know what that means, but still cool. The top, his boiler, he has these slabs here on the side of his boiler. And if you look at Oliver's model here, you could sort of see a similar thing there. It's not quite the same, but still interesting. And you could see his boiler is sort of thin here as well. Across from his dome, his boiler is further extended, and you also have his funnel right there, plastic funnel. Can't really complain. And that's essentially the model. Oh, in the back here, there's not really any details. And his coal in his bunker just has the typical, black plastic coal. As for the model itself, obviously it's very unique and different than most engines in my collection, or really anyone's collection for that matter. He has the typical, I guess you could say face. You could say, I mean, besides the glasses, but he's smiling. And so most engines are smiling, so that's nice. Besides that, though, he's pretty much different in almost every way. He has 4 wheels and, the typical bogies and such. His name just reads Whiff there, see? And let's see, the wheels are dated 2003. I don't know if you could read that. So, just like most other models, the wheels are dated 2003. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say about this particular model. Obviously, I've had this one for a long time now. And I don't know, I was always just had like this weird fondness for it, just because it looks so unique and different. And obviously, Whiff's character, since we don't really know much about him, presents a lot of story potential. So if you want to have him in a series of your own, like I did, obviously you're welcome to do that. I got this particular model of Whiff with the scrap cars here. So this came as one complete set. So that was interesting, I guess, because I think in the show he actually pulls the scrap cars or the recycling cars or something, so that made sense. But if not, it was still nice to get some extra rolling stock with a cool engine. So that's about it, all I have to say for this particular review. I don't know, interesting character, interesting model, definitely a very unique design, and just cool. I don't know, there's really nothing else to say about Whiff other than that. So if you guys have any comments or, anything you want to say about Whiff, if the comments are open, let your voice be heard. Go ahead. But until then, I'll continue with my reviews and see you next time. Thanks for watching.